I am back with my chai after a really long time. But I wanted to come up here today to talk about something which I personally think is very important, and I think it is not talked about much, and that is men's mental health. And June is considered as the month of men's mental health. So I think it was a nice opportunity for me to really come up and talk about it. So, in that context, I actually have a little like a post which I had read, and I thought it was very relevant for what I wanted to say today. So, I'll read out the post in summary to give you a little gist or the idea of what I'm trying to express or communicate. So the post says, and it's written by a man, by a father who had a son who was diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately. And this is what he had mentioned. So he said that 10 years ago, our son, at that time, the age of 9, was diagnosed with cancer. Hundreds of people asked my wife how she was doing, offered her support, and told how I had to be strong for her and for the other children. Only a very, very close few men asked me how I was doing. Now, this post is not to say that the wife does not deserve the support. Of course, she does. But I think it really highlights the silent struggle which men go through. And it's not just limited during parenthood, but I think it shows up in many different areas. For example, new parenthood. A lot of times we would have seen, even in an environment where we are, even if you observe closely, that a moment a baby is born, everybody kind of rushes to check on the mother and the child, which is great, perfect. That's what probably needs to be. But what happens in this whole process is that the man or the father, he kind of goes to the sidelines and becomes kind of invisible. As a result of which, we don't really check in with how the man is doing. The second is social conditioning. Throughout centuries, and I think last so many years, men have been conditioned to deal with it, to be strong with it. Of course, talks around mental health are growing, but it's not really turning into action. Till date, even in my therapy room, when I meet men, a lot of them really struggle to identify words to express how they are feeling, what they are struggling with. Often it's just silence or the word, I don't know. There is a lot of cause behind this I don't know because men have been conditioned to not use the emotional vocabulary to express how they are feeling and have often, even till this date, have been conditioned to man up. In general, for men, the most easiest coping mechanism when it comes to struggles with mental health or any emotional stress they are dealing with is number one, often to avoid it. It's to kind of put a carpet over it or suppress it. Second is to get inclined towards any form of addiction. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could even be porn. The solution for this is, of course, to talk more about mental health. And I personally feel, and I think this can be up for debate or contradiction, I'm open to it, but I personally feel that it is us women who needs to speak more on men and mental health. We also need to take a little step back and reflect what our partners are going through. What is behind their silence? What is behind their repetitive addictive behaviors? And create room, open room without judgment to speak to them, to really understand them.